What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. I cover political news. And folks, do I have a bombshell video for you guys today? There's a hearing going on, some court cases, right? You know I love covering these things. And we've got some bombshell testimony coming out about Dominion voting machines. Now, personally, I wrote off all the Dominion garbage from 2020. I was like, nah, it's just a bunch of garbage, because they sued a bunch of people, right? This was insane. But this testimony that comes out, yeah, it calls that into question. As a matter of fact, there's some evidence, there's a video to go along with this, so we're going to get into this and we're going to see exactly what's going on, because this is absolutely mind-blowing. Let's get into it right quick. Check this out, y'all. The most secure election in history means remote access from Serbia and using 10-year-old passwords. That is right. So apparently they uncovered some data about the Dominion machines getting hacked by Serbia, and it pretty much being hardly, untraceable. This is nuts, y'all. Let's get into this right quick, because this is just mind-blowing. Remember when they told us we had the most secure election in history? Yeah, y'all remember that? Yeah, it's the most free and fair election ever. Yeah, that was 2020, by the way. What they meant was our elections were accessed remotely from Belgrade, Serbia, on systems that have used the same basic passwords like DVS Core 08 exclamation point, literally, for over 10 years. These are just a few nuggets about the 2020 election that came to light during the first hearing in DeKalb County, Republican Party Inc. versus Brad Raffensperger, a lawsuit trying to force the Secretary of State to do his job, follow the law, and secure the 2024 election in Georgia. The case is not about 2020, but the consequences of that stolen election reverberate still. Now, because they said that, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way right quick. This is a right-wing source. I rarely cover these, but this was such bombshell testimony that I couldn't help myself. In other words, I'm like, I got to get this information out there, because this is outright insane. And as a matter of fact, this is an article from yesterday. I scanned the news, all the corporate press articles, all the corporate press sites, AP, Reuters, Politico, you name it, The Hill, a bunch of places, the Washington Post, and none of these people are covering this outright. There's no mention of it anywhere, and this is quite insane. And it's insane that they're not covering it, because they don't want you to know about this, folks. They want to keep this a secret. So if I could get you guys to do me a big favor, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed, and share this video with anybody and everybody, because we need to get this type of information out there like quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? So hit the like for me. It really helps. I sure would appreciate it, y'all. But let's get back into it right quick. Which brings us to the encryption keys and the egregious lack of security of electronic voting systems, which is the basis for the lawsuit against Raffensperger. Prior litigation involving the electronic machines in Arizona led to an investigation uncovering the encryption keys, which are ubiquitous, used in cybersecurity to keep information secure and confidential, and are kept unprotected and in plain text on Dominion's voting systems, rather than safely secured in a cryptographic module as required by the Election Assistance Commission. It works like a code. These various keys use an algorithm to scramble sensitive information, which requires a key to decrypt to read or access the voting systems. Putting these keys in plain text, which is how Dominion stores them in every election system experts have examined from multiple states, leaves the entire system and election results vulnerable to manipulation. In the words of Ben Cotton, a cyber and forensics expert with over 27 years of experience, who uncovered one of the largest hacks of federal government computers in our country's history, testified, what they've done here is the equivalent of writing in big bold letters the combination to the bank vault on the wall next to the lock. Cotton explained how easy it would be for an insider or outsider with access to alter election results without detection. Clay Parrick, who used used to test electronic voting systems for Election Assistance Commission certification, demonstrated just how easy these keys are to find. He used them to locate passwords to the administrative accounts of the election system, with which you could basically do anything you wanted to. Raffensperger has been aware of this problem since at least March of 2024, according to an email sent by his general counsel, Charlene McGowan, who has played a key role in covering up investigations into voter fraud in Georgia in 2020. During the hearing, the attorneys did not dispute the fact that the encryption keys are not secure. So they know it's not secure. Right, so who's to say how long this has been going on? So, right, so they're basically saying if you can get into this system, which the video outright states that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and play that video right quick just to get it out of the way. Check this out, y'all.
And it's your understanding that Georgia Dominion equipment is not connected to the internet, right?
That's incorrect.
So you believe Dominion voting system components in Georgia are connected?
From unrelated Dominion documentation, I can specifically tell you that there is connection.
Which county in Georgia was there a connection to the internet of Dominion equipment?
It would be Gwinnett, if I'm remembering correctly. There were several states involved.
And which time period are you referring to?
This was 2020.
Before or after the election?
During the election.
In your examination of any of these Dominion systems, have you seen any indication of non-election personnel remotely accessing a Dominion system?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I too have reviewed a series of emails produced by Dominion in which they're discussing remoting into Gwinnett County, Georgia.
You also mentioned Dominion remotely connecting to election systems, but you don't have any evidence that occurred in Georgia, correct?
There was one county. I've seen a lot of Dominion emails. I've had to translate Dominion emails from Serbian to English to verify the technical questions I was being asked about them, to verify that it was translated properly. So
it's your testimony that there is evidence of Dominion remotely accessing Georgia election equipment?
yes, on the one county. It was included with stuff that I was researching and reading through, considering Colorado. Michigan was also involved, and there were other ones.
To your understanding, is Dominion able to remotely connect to these election systems?
Yes.
Are they able to do that without detection?
Yes.
And are you aware of any instances in which that has occurred?
Yes.
Can you identify those instances?
One would be the Denver, Colorado server was granted, or requested to grant Belgrade, only Belgrade. I did search. There is a Belgrade, Montana. Again, why would Montana need to connect into a Colorado file transfer server as part of the election system? And there are other components and things that were done in the background concerning the database and the configure of the database server that still do not have an engineering change order. Because if somebody works in an operational environments for a lot of different things, what I will tell you is sometimes things break or you have a problem and you have to fix it. And you submit a change request, or in this case, an engineering change order that's retroactive, right? You want to go back and make sure that you record the process so that you have change management and integrity of the system. If you do not record changes, you lead yourself down a very bad road.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and get this out the way because I try to be as honest as possible about things like this. This is bombshell testimony, right? Saying that, yes, Dominion voting machines were accessed, but that doesn't mean that they changed any votes, right? They're saying that there's evidence that they were accessed through the internet, right, in Gwinnett County in Georgia. Now, they do know that other states with these Dominion machines, which there's 28 states that use Dominion voting machines, right? And they can all be accessed if they're connected to the internet. Now, that does, once again, I'll stress this, it doesn't mean that any votes were flipped or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, come on, these voting machines not being secure like this, connecting them to the internet is insane. And we need a secure election, folks. Now, I can't speculate. I mean, I could speculate if they were flipped or not, but it really doesn't matter at this point, right? That was 4 years ago, just about. And so it really doesn't matter. We would love to know if it was. Would love to know that, but we'll never find that out because, once again, like they were saying earlier, that they could access this and just change votes or, access it undetected. So we will never know. We will never know, but we do know that they were accessed. That's very bad news for our elections, folks. But once again, like I said, there's no evidence that any votes were flipped. I'll put that out there. But let's keep going. In fact, Raffensperger's own office had previously admitted in a court briefing how important encryption codes are, arguing their disclosure would compromise election security. Oh, is that so, Raffensperger? Then why the hell did you write the encryption, the keys, the password? Like, I know he didn't literally do that, but like Cotton was saying, that it's essentially what they did. This is crazy, y'all. And yet, Raffensperger has done nothing to secure the election system in Georgia, which is mandated by law to be in compliance with certification requirements. If I'm looking at it from a hacker's point of view, hallelujah, Cotton said of the state of Georgia's election system. If I'm looking at it from a cybersecurity perspective, I can't believe that anybody would ever do this. This is crazy, y'all. If you're talking about the criticality of ensuring the integrity of the vote, which is the base of our democracy, then how could you ever leave this unprotected, he added. I quite find it, frankly, appalling. Yes, and so do I, and I imagine so do you. There is no legitimate reason to leave encryption keys in plain text and use the same password since 2008. And this problem is not limited to Georgia. Dominion was used in 28 states in 2020. The writ of mandamus filed by the DeKalb Republican Party and joined by 36 other counties in an amicus brief seeks a court order to force Raffensperger to follow the law and provide oversight and transparency of the election results, requesting within 24 hours of the election all system logs, cast vote records, and ballot images for inspection to help ensure no manipulation occurs. And I really hope they do this. I imagine they can be compelled by law to do this. We need more security in our elections. California just voted down voter ID, outlawed voter ID. That's insane to me. Like, please explain why you don't want security in your elections. Oh, I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, oh, well, that's voter suppression. How? How does that suppress the vote? Yeah, it might make it harder to register, but it has nothing to do with actually voting. So you got to stand in line anyway. Plus, you can vote by mail. How the hell are you going to show a voter ID if you're voting by mail? That makes no sense, Gavin Newsom. But, that, once again, it blows my mind. You need to prove if you're a citizen or not, because we have so many non-citizens in the country that have residences, that live and work in this country. It's insane. Like, the estimates of how many criminal aliens are in the country is like 20 to 25 million currently. Joe Biden has allowed in at least 10 of those at minimum. Bare minimum, right? The upwards estimates are upwards of 15 million that he has allowed in just the last 3.5 years. But we've had criminal aliens in this country for long before that. So, the estimates could be even higher than that. The actual numbers could be much higher. We just don't know. But with that many illegals in the country, don't you think a little bit of security in your elections is, common sense? Yeah, Democrats love to talk about, oh, it's just common sense lawmaking. Yeah. Come on now, it's not common sense. Some of that stuff that they put out there is just not common sense. But before I rant on forever, let's keep going. The case sits in the hands of Judge Scott McAfee, who has promised to issue a ruling on Raffensperger's motion to dismiss and request for a directed verdict. If he denies their motion, a second hearing will take place next week. The judge must decide if laws still matter or if Georgia will unlawfully continue to cede its elections to an uncountable third-party vendor that has a habit of going after anyone who questions the security of their voting machines. And they do. They sued Fox News and won like almost $1 billion. That's insane. As a matter of fact, we believe, this is conspiracy theory, that Tucker Carlson was fired because of that lawsuit. That's what, the conspiracy theory is, because it just so happens that he was let go right after that lawsuit came down the pipeline. Just kind of crazy. Coincidence? It could be. Could just be coincidence. But once again, when you look at the evidence, yeah, Tucker Carlson was the most popular contributor on Fox. It's like, why would you get rid of the dude? Like, he had a massive audience. But, it all worked out for the better because he's on X and he has a much more massive audience now than he did when he was at Fox. And he's doing quite well from what I can tell. I wish I could do that good. Smash that like button, by the way, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Regardless, the encryption key issue has already exposed how there never was a real and proper investigation into what happened in 2020. If, after all this time, we're just now learning these voting systems can and were remotely accessed from a foreign country, but it also offers a chance to secure our elections in 2024. And I sure as hell hope that we have another hearing, that Judge McAfee doesn't just dismiss this. And by the way, does that name ring a bell? Yeah, it should. That should sound very familiar to everybody out there. That's the same judge in the Fani Willis case. That was the same guy that talked about an odor of mendacity, which he allowed Fani Willis to stay on that case against Trump, the election subversion case, which is a ridiculous case outright. It's just stupid, and it's probably not going to go anywhere. Presidential immunity is going to play a major role in that. And, the left lost their freaking mind with that. But, yeah, we're not trying to talk about that. But, I really hope Judge McAfee sees the writing on the wall. Yes, look, these encryption keys are very important. They're integral to the security of those voting machines. This is one reason why a lot of people are advocating for paper ballots, for crying out loud. It's hard. It's much harder to manipulate a paper ballot, right? Something printed out from a machine or from whatever. Something you can see. You can look at the paper when it prints it out and see it. See who you voted for. Make sure it's not manipulated. And once that printout is done and you hand it off, there's plenty of people to make sure that the chain of custody stays in place and that your vote is secure. Right? If your vote is just out there in the ether on the internet, for crying out loud, like, I don't understand why that county, was it Gwinnett County, had their voting machines connected to the internet. Are you freaking kidding me? That's insane. But regardless of that fact, there are ways that you can remotely access these voting machines without them being connected to the internet. You just create your own internet access and you hack into that system. Of course, that does require a whole lot of, technical stuff there, which I don't know much about, but I do know it can be done, or at least that's what the experts say. But, why would Raffensperger fight this? Use taxpayer dollars to fight this. That's insane. It makes no sense. That's like some of the lawsuits Joe Biden brings. Texas makes a law to assist the federal government in arresting criminal aliens. Right? They made up that law that gives local PD, state troopers, county sheriffs, and all that the ability to arrest and detain somebody and turn them over to ICE if they're in our country illegally. And Joe Biden and the DOJ is fighting against Texas to stop that law from being implemented. That's ridiculous. They're using your taxpayer dollars to fight Texas, who is having to use Texas taxpayer dollars. So Texas taxpayers, if any of you guys are from Texas that watch this video, yeah, you're getting double dipped on that one, y'all. You are getting double dipped. Because, yeah, your governor, Greg Abbott, is having to use your state taxes to fight this. And now your federal taxes are being used in reverse to fight this. It's insane what the Biden administration and the Democrats are doing to this country. It blows my freaking lid every single time to find out that they are just using lawfare as a bludgeon to beat people over the freaking head with on a constant and daily basis, it seems like, right? Suing actual Democratic nominees, people that are trying to get on the primary and get on the ballot, they're suing to keep them off the ballot, make less democracy for you. That's nuts. Coming from the Democratic Party, that's insane. Their name is the Democratic Party. The root word of democratic is democracy. Like, it's just insane what they do. But they're suing everybody. They sued RFK Jr., Jill Stein of all people, right? Cornel West, just a bunch of people, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what they do. But this story blew my freaking mind. I couldn't believe it, y'all. I really couldn't believe it. I'm like, holy crap, did this guy just testify that, yes, Gwinnett County, yeah, their voting machines were connected to the freaking internet, and we saw emails from Dominion saying that they remotely accessed those voting machines from Serbia. Like, what's going on here? Why would somebody in Serbia, even if they work for Dominion, be allowed to access our machines in this country? That's mind-blowing. Once again, I will put this back out there. That doesn't mean that any votes were flipped by anybody who accessed these machines, but that's just how easy it can be. And once again, they told us that was the most secure election ever. The freest and fairest election. Yeah, right. Yeah, freaking right. With all the ballot harvesting, all the rule changes, yeah, it wasn't free and it wasn't fair. It's mind-blowing what they did in 2020. The shadow campaign, y'all. The shadow campaign is there. It's real. And I covered it. As a matter of fact, at the end of this video, the link for it's going to be right here. Right here. Just click on it and watch that video. I need to redo it. I know I always talk about it, but, I'm ranting now, so we're going to go ahead and cut this off here. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this, because it's just mind-blowing to me that our elections are that unsecured, if you will. I thought those Dominion machines weren't connected to the internet ever. That's what we were told. That's insane to me. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.